As a designer, I think that I have to consider the sustainability of the products that I design. I'm stuck. Sorry. I'm just stuck. I don't know the answer to it. I think that's my biggest problem, is I don't know the answer.
At this point, I think we put consumers in a very difficult situation, and many consumers have actually given up. They've thrown their hands up in the air in defeat, because they don't feel that they have the power to make change, because to some extent, we as designers and we as corporations are dictating the products that they're buying.
Everyone is looking at the people right in the middle who are speccing the product. The manufacturing side is thinking, well, no one's going to buy it if it wasn't good, and the users are thinking, well, no one would make it if it wasn't good. So they're all relying on someone in the middle to be the filter, to say this is the right thing to do or this is not the right thing to do.
Change happens over time, and so incremental steps in terms of sustainable design, I think, is the appropriate approach, as opposed to saying it all has to be, PLA, biodegradable materials, so on and so forth, without being thoughtful about the business case around it.
So I think there's an incredible market opportunity to start to design guilt-free products.
Well, I spent a lot of time thinking that, especially recently, that my job is to create landfill.
We need to go beyond just use. We need to go beyond just personal meaning of what that tool is. We need to think about who's making it, where's it coming from, what materials are involved in it.
It makes a lot of sense for us as a community to take more of an interest, to take more of a leadership role in making these kind of judgments and providing the people at other ends of the spectrum, other ends of the life cycle, with the right information and the right choices.
Being vegan, people automatically just assume I'm a tree hugger, I wear patchouli oil, I run around dancing in my hippie skirts, and it's not the case. I do care about living compassionately and making sure that no animal has to suffer or die so I can consume it in some way, eat it or wear it. I think it's all about choices. And in giving up leather shoes, I had to make some sacrifices, and if you're not buying leather shoes, you're buying vegan shoes. They're typically made out of, well, they all say man-made materials, but I guess that typically, in my case, most of the shoes that I own are all sort of rubber, likely petroleum products, which is a problem for me in the way that I feel about the environment. But it's more important to me that an animal isn't dying for it. So, I don't know what is happening to the planet because I'm wearing rubber clogs, but it makes me feel better. I recently found a vegan store in San Francisco that sells totally renewable shoes, which is really exciting to me because I know that this isn't a sacrifice for the planet. I think the guy told me that the inside was recycled cardboard. It's all microfiber, recycled rubber, or possibly natural rubber, actually. And I love these shoes. Like, I don't have any guilt around these shoes. So these are my favorite thing right now.
I can till 40 acres in a day with this tractor. It takes about 40 gallons of diesel fuel, and when you finish a day like that and look back over 40 acres of freshly prepared ground ready to plant, it gives you quite a feeling of satisfaction. At the same time, I know that this type of tillage that we practice now is not sustainable. I mean, it creates a tremendous amount of carbon dioxide every time the earth is tilled up like that. We know that tillage basically destroys the structure of the soil. You know, we use a lot of diesel fuel, which isn't a renewable resource. And yet, the system in which I farm, it works pretty well. I produce about 120 tons of wheat a year. That's a lot of bread. I often say that if you're going to work in sustainability, being a farmer is a good thing to keep you honest. Because whether you have aspirations to shift your practices towards ones that are more sustainable or environmentally friendly or whatever it may be, it becomes pretty clear that you still have to operate within the system. And figuring out how to innovate kind of within the system is the challenge that's in front of us. Nature's pretty good at doing that. Evolution occurs from within the system. It doesn't come from without. And I think we're probably going to have to learn to do the same thing.
Specifically with materials and manufacturing, we are often constrained and we're always in places where we can make only sort of incremental improvements. But that being good, the only way you make the right incremental improvement or enough incremental improvements for it to make a difference is to try to be black and white where possible. And that means to understand the trade-offs between chrome plating and nickel plating and decide in your mind that wherever possible, nickel plating is better because at least it doesn't have the bad chromium. Now we can think about the same trade-offs considering PVC versus copolyester or PETG for packaging, and we know that PVC is a lot less expensive, but if there are places where we can make that trade-off, then we will. And we'll decide that with our clients, there are some parts of their product line where they have a little higher margin and they're willing to invest and costs aren't so strict, and they can use copolyester packaging for those products and over time move away from PVC. But we're realistic enough to know that we can't just say that for every product that all our clients work on, we can just forget about the use of PVC or eliminate the use of PVC. So we can be strong enough to know that there are these tendencies, that issues are black and white. There are things that are bad and there are things that are good. But we can't always implement everything at one time, and so we'll try to step forward, and maybe we'll do that by taking a strong position in the beginning and being willing to back away from it, but at least we're taking that position, or at least we're knowledgeable when we aren't.
It's really starting to filter into the details of my life, which helps sort of sustain the growth that I feel as human on this planet. It supports it because I feel good about my choices.
The product that you just owned for half a year, you're going to throw it away and trade it in for the better one, for the cheaper one. Yeah, so I'm in conflict a little bit as an industrial designer with the word sustainability and its meaning.
And I think one of sustainability's problems has been that it's worthy. I mean, we all recognize that it would be better to be more sustainable in one form or another, but you know, if all we can register is, yeah, we know it would be better, that's not enough to inspire or shift behavior in often very complex systems, big corporations, complex markets.
We're human, and I think the way we solve complex problems is kind of in our own way. So using ourselves and our individual humanness as a way of grappling with this problem, I think has many advantages for us.
I just feel really good about them, and I want to support this company, and I want to support other companies that, you know, support my lifestyle, support the things that I believe in.
I think as the cultural shift towards more sustainable or green products increases, there'll be more pressure from a consumer push standpoint to actually integrate more green design into the business case. But until that time, it's about helping the people who want to become industry leaders within green design do it in a way that still meets their business objectives.
And that's the problem within our clients, I think, is how can we inspire them to tackle challenges and tackle problems that they would be incredibly excited about pulling off. And I think that's our job, is to find those little places, or those big places where that level of excitement can exist. Because companies can do amazing things when they're inspired.